afternoon everyone, welcome back to the Nature Patch. My name is Robyn and today I'm going to be taking you on a tour of the garden. I like to do monthly garden updates just for me to document the garden and also to show you what you can grow around this time in a subtropical climate. So me and my partner live on a rental property around the Brisbane region, so it's pretty much the middle of May. Thankfully things are starting to cool down a little bit and we can start to plant all of our winter vegetables. So that's what I've been up to today, so you'll have to excuse any dirt or anything that is on my face right now, but you're going to be seeing not a lot of me but more of the garden. So for the first part of the tour I'm going to take you over to these raised beds right in front of our kitchen. I've also got my delicious cup of green tea that will be joining us on this tour. So these raised beds over here are in front of our kitchen. Our kitchen is just up over there. So a lot of the plants in this area are things that I like to come to daily, so I don't have to walk too far from the house. So this is our zone 1 in permaculture, so I like to have lots of herbs and greens in here. I've just rearranged a lot of these beds and planted out the winter vegetables, but the parsley has survived all spring and summer pretty much. This is looking a lot healthier than it did in summer. We pretty much use this in most of the dishes that we cook for dinner. It's probably my favourite herb. Next you can see popping up, there's a few little tomatoes in here because I used homemade compost, but this is actually a row of beets that you can see there. And I've also planted a row of red Russian kale and also some orange silver beet and some lettuce over here. Moving on to this front one here, this was just a bit of an experiment to see how much I could grow in a small space, and I can tell you it is a lot. So this is rocket, this has come up really quickly. I've also got some corn salad in here, radishes which should be bulbing up pretty soon, and some lettuce on the end. All really fast growing crops that you can sow the seeds and be done within a few months. And in this bed here I've just got some more greens, so I've got some mizuna, rainbow chard, I'm trying to grow collards for the first time, and some sorrel and nasturtiums down the back. So now I'm going to take you over to these raised beds over here. I've been working on this big one here today. So this bed here is actually a complete experiment. It's a no-dig bed that pretty much is made up of food scraps and some mulch, so my wet and my dry ingredients. So this is basically a working compost system, and whenever I plant something in it, like I have with all of the dark patches, I'll actually just plant it into some potting soil, and then whatever's down below it is going to continue to break down. There are so many worms in here and this is decomposed really quickly. So in here I've planted some leeks. I'm actually trying the Charles Dowding method of kind of doing clusters of a lot of plants. So I'm going to try growing leeks in clusters and then picking the smaller ones when they're ready. I've also planted a row of lettuce over there, and I've planted perpetual spinach and corn salad and just alternated that down a row. And I've planted, it's a bit hard to see because some of the green stuff is still breaking down. I've planted some broccoli here and then another row of corn salad and perpetual spinach with some more leeks there. So I'll keep you updated on how this bed goes, but so far using a lot of food scraps and mulch has actually been really helpful because our soil is pretty much rock hard. That's what I am talking about when I say it's really decomposing fast. This is pretty much food scraps about a month ago. And then these raised beds here, I've still got the Malabar spinach, which is going brilliantly. The only thing with Malabar spinach that I've come to learn, it is a really hungry feeder. So I had corn in this bed and they just did not compete very well. The Malabar spinach just completely took all of the nutrients. So what I'm doing is actually I fed this bed a lot of nitrogen and some food scraps and chicken manure, and I'm going to just be growing some greens on here which have less complex root systems and take up a lot less nutrients than really hungry vegetables such as corn and broccoli. So we'll see how that goes. The back here is pretty empty. I've actually planted a lot of flowers in here. So today I planted some salvias and some native everlasting daisies because I just wanted a bit more variety around the vegetable patch. And putting flowers in obviously helps with bees and pollination. And up the back there I'm probably going to plant some peas or beans, something to climb up that cage. The only thing though, it doesn't get a lot of sun in this area. And this bed here has just got some sweet potato, more parsley and some kale. The soil in this bed isn't too great. It's got too much perlite in it, and it definitely needs a bit more fresh organic matter in it, but everything's doing well in there so far. And then much like my problem with the corn, the beetroot seems to be struggling. That's these 2 rows here, because I think this Malabar spinach is just taking up way too many nutrients, so I might have to cull the Malabar spinach soon because yeah, we just don't really eat that much of it. So, and again, the turnips aren't doing too well. Like always, I can never really grow turnips too well. I've got some sweet potato in here and another eggplant that is getting some new flowers on it. And then up the back here is a bed that I recently planted out. So I've got some curly lettuce in here, a row of pak choi. These green things on the side were radish tops, and I needed some more mulch, and so I've just placed these down as mulch. They don't seem to attract any bugs that eat the seedlings, so it's something to think about, but I haven't had any problems with that so far. So I've got some pak choi, row of spinach, I just planted a row of kohlrabi and some more radishes, and I've got some zucchinis and more lettuce over here. Kind of going a bit overboard on the lettuce, but I love fresh salads. And then behind the shed here is the in-ground garden. The pigeon peas are doing really well. I should be able to cut this back soon to get some more mulch for some of the beds. The rosellas are still kind of plumping up, so I think I'm going to make another batch of rosella jam because I can never have too much rosella jam. And then in this side here we've got some onions that definitely need a bit of a water. Hopefully they'll come back to life. And then my tomatoes down here. We've been picking a lot of the yellow tomatoes. Some have had a few bugs, but just pick out those ones. Some of the Tigerella tomatoes are ripening up. I've got quite a few of them on the vines. And also the aroma tomatoes, which I'm super excited about, are ripening up nicely. So that's where all the tomatoes were. I planted some garlic in here. So these have all started popping up. Starting to get some more capsicums down there. And the garlic's looking pretty good. I've got quite a few banana capsicums here and some pepino melons starting to grow. I think I'm going to replant some beans here because I think the other beans got a bit of root rot. In general, this area just needs a lot of work. There's plants here, there and everywhere, but it's not too organised. I've just kind of been focusing on the raised beds for now, but it is being productive because I do have some tomatoes coming. And yeah, there's lots of potential for this to turn into an awesome winter garden. So I just need to get planning, I suppose, for this area. Then as you walk out, I've got my compost system over there, and I've been planting out a new bed here full of corn and beans. So again, I've just been green mulching where I can just to get more nutrients in the soil because the soil back here is pretty horrendous. So I've planted some bush beans along here, and I'm trying to sow these every few weeks just so I get kind of a constant harvest of these. So that's what the garden is looking like in May. I really love the month of May because it's my birthday month, and it also just starts to get really cool and beautiful temperatures in the Brisbane area. We are going to set up the fire over there and try and cook some burgers on it tonight, so that'll be really nice. Been slightly absent from YouTube just because work has been really busy lately, but I always like filming the monthly garden tours because I really like documenting them. So we are going to go get this fire started and I'll film a little bit of that for you. I hope you're all having a lovely day wherever you are in the world, and until my next video, happy gardening. Bye.